Good afternoon. Today is a big day for you. It's the culmination of a lot of hard work, of sacrifices and frustrations, past tests, maybe a couple failed tests, certainly early mornings and late nights. It's a day to celebrate and remember, to think about the good times, and to thank the people who helped you get here. So in that spirit, I want you to think for a minute about someone who helped you get where you are. Maybe your mom or your dad, maybe a spouse or a professor. And I want you to ask yourself, can they dance? No, really, can they dance? For real. Do they do the planted feet shoulder shrug like my dad? This is my dad's dance. Do they do the double finger point like my mom? This is my mom. Are they like me, and they think they can dance, but they're really not very good? I know I'm supposed to be a serious person up here giving you serious advice from my serious background and serious credentials. But the truth is that life is messy, and it's complicated, and there aren't any straight lines or clear answers. So my advice for you today is simple. When you leave Doane University, stay focused on being someone that matters, doing something that matters. Just like those people you were just picturing, just like those people who made a difference in your life. Because when you walk out these doors, certainly, definitely, I want you to have a successful career. But more importantly, I want you to have successful lives. So today we're going to talk about what mattering is, how it relates to your education, and how you can turn it into a vocation. A vocation meaning that you live your whole life in response to your calling. But first, here's my serious person with serious credentials background. I do have a master's degree in social work from the University of Michigan. I spent 8 years serving you as a Nebraska state senator, and recently I was appointed by the President of the United States to lead the United States Department of Agriculture Rural Development Division for the state of Nebraska. But the truth is that one of the most important and best professional things that I have ever done in my whole life, I'm not sure anyone remembers. It's definitely not in my resume or in my bio. One of my best professional accomplishments was actually a dance, but we'll get to that. First, let's talk about what mattering is. Dr. Gordon Flett is a professor at York University and the author of The Psychology of Mattering. He argues that mattering is a core universal human need and explains that mattering is more than just feeling like you belong in a group, but also being missed by the people in that group if you weren't there. To matter, people must feel valued, heard, appreciated, and cared for, and they must feel like they add value in ways that make them feel capable, important, and trusted. It's a two-part definition: feeling valued and adding value. It's interactive. It's not a number, it's an equation. One of my personal heroes is Father Gregory Boyle. Father Boyle founded Homeboy Industries, and he is an expert in mattering. Homeboy Industries is the largest gang prevention and rehabilitation program in the world. For over 30 years, they have provided hope to people by providing training and support to formerly gang-involved and previously incarcerated people, allowing them to redirect their lives and become contributing members of their communities. Father Boyle puts it this way: you stand with the least likely to succeed until success is succeeded by something more valuable: kinship. You stand with the belligerent, the surly, and the badly behaved until bad behavior is recognized for the language that it is, the vocabulary of the deeply wounded and those whose burdens are more than they can bear. Mattering is kinship. It's having a place to belong, people to belong to, and having those people also belong to you. In the language of Father Boyle, it's having homeboys. And that leads me to the second part, how mattering relates to you and your education. My guess is that you already know in very personal terms the difference between feeling like you matter and feeling like you don't. Because no matter where you come from, whether it's the streets of LA, like the gang members who come to Homeboy Industries, or the back roads of Otoe County like me, we almost all know what it feels like not to matter, not to feel like you make a difference, and we all yearn for that kinship and mattering. It's possible, even, that that feeling helped you find Doane in the first place. It's likely you were drawn here by the excellence of education and the small town atmosphere, by the caring and professional individuals who helped provide for your education. But my guess is that for many of you, your journey was not that simple. At least a part of your education was likely online through the COVID years. Maybe you chose to stay in Nebraska to help support family, your parents or children. Maybe you started a career that didn't work out, and this represents a new start for you. Regardless of your path, you discovered that Doane was a place where you mattered, but it was also a place where you could be more and matter more than you did before. So Doane has given you the building blocks of mattering to yourself, your family, and your community. You have mattered at Doane to the teachers and administrators and your fellow students, and now this university is sending you out into the world with a toolbox full of mattering tools. Certainly those tools are your skills in accounting or the skill set you learned getting your MBA. Maybe it's the best practices you learned in your education degree, or maybe it's the coursework that helped you advance in your current work life. But the other tools in your toolbox are also the values of this university: inclusion, integrity, innovation, and transformation. And here's the secret. The challenges and bad days where you felt like nothing mattered continued to give you the motivation and strength to persevere. They made you better, and they gave you the perspective you need to live those values of transformation for yourself and inclusion for others. And that leads me to the third part, because now with your diploma in your hand, it's your turn. One of my very favorite professors at my university was Dr. Bill Draper-Finlaw. He was a professor of theology. And his advice was this: vocation is where your joy meets the world's need. It's another equation. It's both and. It sounds simple, but it's not. Your education here at Doane helped you to find your career, helped you to figure out your way of meeting the world's need. But the way to matter is to bring together the world's needs with your joy. Just like Dr. Fleet says, a vocation is where you feel like you are living your calling, and you must be more than just needed. You must add the spark that will be missed if you are gone. And that can only come from your joy. Let me give you an example of what I mean. Let's get back to the dance sequence I promised. Not for me, but in the story, for sure. I served as a Nebraska state senator for 8 years representing South Lincoln. And the first bill I ever passed established a program called Destination Dads in the Nebraska Department of Correctional Services. The program teaches incarcerated parents how to reconcile their histories with their families and learn parenting and life skills. The program culminates in a party with the kids. This bill didn't make headlines. I'm not sure anybody remembers it. It wasn't about tax reform. It didn't revolutionize our education system. No one gave me any awards for this bill, and no lobbyist shook my hand. But that's not the point. The point is that after the bill was passed, I got to see a video of the Destination Dads party. There were girls in fancy dresses and dads with flowers in their hands. And one little moment caught my eye. There was a girl about 10 or 12 years old sitting in a chair at the party, and her dad was dancing in front of her like a goofball. I'll demonstrate for your entertainment. Kind of a fists up, hip waggle. You all have seen dads do the cool dad dance. And her face said, in absolutely no uncertain terms, "Oh my God, Dad, you are such a dork." But then she smiled, and you could almost see on her face that she was thinking, "You're such a dork, but I guess I love you anyway." It was priceless. And that little interaction proved that they mattered to each other, proved that she mattered enough for him to take the risk of being a goofball, and that he mattered enough to her that she would smile and love him in response and in return. And all of this was in spite of the circumstances, in spite of the fact that the party was in a prison. And that moment made me feel like I mattered, like I had contributed to something special, like I was a part in some small way and one of Pastor Boyle's homeboys, right? Even though I'm a farm kid from Palmyra. And that brought me joy. And it made the work of campaigning and late nights and early mornings feel worth it. Here's the thing, graduates. The world will try to take away your joy. It will try to tell you to make more money or chase your ego. It will try to tell you you're not good enough or that everyone else is better. It will try to tell you to chase the number of likes on your phone or that new car in your driveway. But your challenge today as you walk out these doors, your diploma in hand, is to ignore anything that the world tells you that makes you feel like you don't matter and doesn't help you feel valued or add value. Because at the end of the day, you can build a career or you can live your entire life in response to your calling. And from the other side of the graduation stage, I can tell you, the second way is the way that matters. So graduates, go forth. Please be brave enough to be joyful and be centered enough to be useful. And don't be afraid to dance, even if you look stupid. Thank you.